Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Comic Book Hangover, and yeah, it's time for another weekly haul, weekly review video. I do this every week here on my Comic Book Hangover YouTube channel, and really like the fact that there are those of you out there who like to listen to me talk about the books that I pick up from week to week. So this week, though, we're going to have a lot of different books to talk about, because there's some new books that came out last week that were actually really well done. And I've got some I had a small week for this week's releases, so the end of the video would be kind of quick, but we'll see what we could do as far as getting good material on the channel today. So before I get started, though, as you can see on the wall, the setup behind me, these are all the recent books. I did switch out Darkhawk and Death of Bloodstone, Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone with their standard covers. This one here's Silver Coin. Even though they came out last week, I really do want to talk about this book. This is a really, really good anthology horror book. If you're looking for something that is really different, I mean, each story is different. The only thing that connects them is the silver coin with an eyeball on it that brings good luck and then total disaster to whoever possesses the coin or whoever becomes obsessed with the coin. And I've seen where some people have kind of compared it to Tales from the Crypt and the Vault of Horror, the old EC standards. But in really the only way that I can see where it compares to those is the fact that it's horror and not everybody survives at the end of the story. But beyond that, these are unique in the sense that there's no twist ending. There's no bad guy getting served justice through supernatural or whatever means. There's none of that. I mean, these are stories where you have people who are generally good who want to becoming corrupted by the coin and end up dead for whatever reason, however the coin decides to kill them. So we're learning. We didn't get anything more in this issue, but we are learning more and more about the coin and about the fact that there are more coins. But great series. If you haven't checked it out, if you're looking for something that's dark, something that doesn't, the endings are not always the happiest of endings. Actually, I don't think we've had a happy ending, but Silver Coin is a great series. Also from last week, just going to talk about this one real quick. This is Power Rangers number 15. Continuing the Altarian Wars, and this story is getting big. This story is getting great. This issue here had some great fights in it. We get a new Zord in this one with the Omega Rangers and the Power Rangers, and just it's so many just great things. Really, the only thing I'm not really liking about this run of Power Rangers is that we're taking Lord Zed and doing what Marvel does with their great villains. Is they always try to figure out a way to make them sympathetic, so that they're evil and they've done a lot of bad things, but it wasn't their fault. They had a bad childhood. They weren't given peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in school for their lunch. Some stupid reasons they decided to become evil, and they're doing the same thing to Zed. They gave him an origin that I don't think fits, and it doesn't match with. I guess it could match if you're kind of skewing the timeline a little bit, but I really think that Zed should have a different origin. I think he should have a better origin, a darker origin than what he's given here. I don't like the idea that he is Altarian. He was friends with Zordon in the previous life, and he was kind of tricked into becoming evil. It's just it doesn't work. It doesn't gel. But beyond that, small little nitpick. This Altarian war storyline has been awesome. It's been amazing. I'm eager to see it end, but I'm really just enjoying the ride as it goes. Next one, Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham, number 5 of 6. Man, this story is getting better and better. Now you got Batman and Bigby working side by side. We find out that the bookworm who is after this book that almost killed Bigby, he's not actually the bookworm. He is a fable, but we just don't know which one it is. At first, I thought it was going to be Mr. Dark, but Mr. Dark doesn't really. He didn't really seem to show much interest in the sort of things that this faux bookworm is doing. So he is apparently a fable. We just don't know who he is. We're going to find out in the next issue, but we got Batman versus Bigby. If you're missing fables like I was missing fables for years. It's a great return. Plus in May we're getting Fables 151. I mean, it kind of makes sense because, this is the 20th anniversary. It's hard to believe. 2002 is when Fable started, if I recall correctly. So it's going to be 20 years, 20th anniversary of Fables. It's weird that it's been that long already since Fables came out. But Batman vs. Bigby, great. If you're a Fables fan, it's awesome. If you're a Batman fan, you might not enjoy it as much because Batman in this one, he's written a little differently. His reaction's a little bit different than what we're used to. But as far as the Fables part of the story goes, it's a perfect fit. Perfect fit. Next one is going to be Silver Surfer Reborn. Now, this is done in the vein of X-Men Legends. For those who don't know, X-Men Legends it's a series of X-Men stories that take place within the timeline of 80s and 90s X-Men. And it isn't just going to be uncanny. They've done X-Factor. I'm sure they're going to do X-Force and all these other X's that they had back in the day. But these are stories that take place in that particular time. They bring back the creative artists. They bring back the writers, all the creatives that were a part of those books. They bring them back to either continue, finish, or tell a story that takes place within the confines of that timeline of the 80s or 90s. Silver Surfer Rebirth is done in the same way. And first, I got to say, corner box. I love having these corner boxes back along with that classic, iconic, old school Marvel Comics logo. It's great. But we've got Silver Surfer the way he should have been done from the get-go. Ron Lim, Ron Mars. This is the creative team that was on the Silver Surfer when I started reading it back in, 91, right before the Infinity Gauntlet hit. I decided to jump on the Silver Surfer since he was the main crossover book with that event. So this takes place, I think this is going to be after the Infinity Gauntlet. I think this is after the Infinity Gauntlet because somebody has stolen the reality gem from Thanos. So that places it right after the Infinity Gauntlet, before the Infinity War, because Warlock did that. It's also got Legacy in it. Captain Marvel's son, Legacy, is in it. Captain Marvel does make an appearance because with the reality gem, anything that the person who wields it wants, anything that they want to be, will be. The reality will bend to their whim easily, like a wet noodle. And it's kind of funny because you've got Silver Surfer's talking to Genis-Vell, Legacy, and they're sort of flying through space, and then suddenly they're hit with this wave, and Legacy's gone. Mar-Vell is there. The original Marvel version of Captain Marvel is there, and Surfer has no idea what's going on. Captain Marvel seems to know what's going on in his timeline. He's trying to stop the Skrull, and then there's another explosion. Captain Marvel dies, and then the one of the other main characters shows up. But it was a great read. I mean, it was great to see the Silver Surfer drawn old school. It's great to have an old school writer back on it. I mean, it felt classic. It felt like the Silver Surfer should be. This is how the Silver Surfer should be done. We got no human characters. We got no border with a personality or a name or any of that stupidity. We got the Silver Surfer in space doing cosmic stuff the way it was meant to be. That was awesome. I'm really enjoying it. It's like a 5 or 6 issue miniseries, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Last up from last week, She-Hulk. She-Hulk #1. Written by, what's her name? Rainbow Rowell. This is the first thing of hers that I've ever read. Let's put this over here. See if this comes up better. That's a little bit better. It's the first thing of hers I've ever read. It is taking She-Hulk back to basics. So if you're a fan of sensational She-Hulk, or even Dan Slott's She-Hulk from early 2000s, you definitely want to jump on this book. It has that charm. It has that wit. It has that sort of quasi-innocence that those books had. So, Jennifer she's starting over from scratch. She's going back to being a lawyer. She's part of a law firm. She has to get a place to live. She has to get clothes. She has to, she's starting from scratch. But one of the interesting things about this is the interaction between her and Titania. Titania shows up and says, I heard he got depowered. I want to try out the new She-Hulk. And their conversation's interesting. The one thing I didn't like about it is they're using their first names and they're just really kind of chummy with each other. I'm not used to that yet, but I like how they kind of realize that they're always fighting each other. Sometimes Titania will win, most times She-Hulk will win. Titania always ends up in jail at the end of the fight, and they kind of come to an agreement. It's like, you don't need to commit a crime. You don't need to attack me for no reason to fight. If you want to fight, we'll make the arrangements. We'll go someplace out of the city where nobody's going to get hurt, and we'll just fight. We'll just beat the tar at each other to get it out of our system, and maybe that'll help us think straight. So it was kind of cool how they arranged that little relationship between those two characters. It's like, you don't have to. We like to fight. Basically, they like to fight. They know how each other are in a fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But She-Hulk, excuse me, She-Hulk #1. It was fun. It was fun. I went into it cautiously optimistic because I wasn't familiar with the writer. Had no idea who she was. I knew she wrote some books that I had no interest in. So it was one of those things like, can she do She-Hulk? And the answer is, yeah, I think she's got a handle on the character. Art-wise, you know what? The art really works with She-Hulk. Yeah, here we go. The art really works well with She-Hulk. I don't know how well that's going to get. I'm still working on my lighting here, ladies and gentlemen. So, but the art works really well with the story, with the style of story. The colors are bright and vibrant. The lines are really sharp. I mean, there's no, let's try to make this look realistic. It's a comic book that looks like a comic book, and I love that. So, She-Hulk #1. I mean, it's a given that Silver Surfer Reborn #1 is going to have my seal of approval on it. I was going to say I was going to recommend it, but She-Hulk was kind of, I wasn't sure about it. But you know what? I want to check out the second issue. I've already got it on my pull list. I'm going to give it a couple of issues, but if the upcoming issues are anything like what we have here, I will finally have, after who knows, a new ongoing series. After, man, I did drop X-Men Legends, but that was in the past. So for modern line Marvel, She-Hulk is going to be the first ongoing series I've had with them for probably well over a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know. I got to go back and check, but it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I really hope that the energy, the charm, the humor, the great art continues as far as the story goes, because I really like this first issue. I said I was cautiously optimistic, but the more I look at it, the more I think about it, the more I'm really enjoying it. So She-Hulk #1, if you haven't gotten it, pick it up. It's a lot of fun, especially if you want to know who she is before her Hulu or Disney Plus series starts. So definitely check that out. All right, so that's that. Let's talk about the books that I picked up this week. Before I do that, actually, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, if you like my videos, if you like my little short reviews that I try to keep as spoiler-free as possible, please go ahead and subscribe and leave me a like. I really, really, really appreciate that. I haven't been getting very many likes lately. I'd like to get those back into the double digits. That would be amazing. Comment. Let me know in the comment section down below which one of the books that I picked up that you read. Which ones didn't I pick up that you think I should check out that I may enjoy? So, yeah, just get a conversation started down in the comment section down below. Hit that notification button as well, because I'm going to start doing these, try to do these videos in advance, especially once I get my lighting situation taken care of. Then I can record them after dark. So, that said, like, comment, subscribe, notification button, share, all that fun stuff. Let's talk about the books that I picked up this week, starting with Stray Dogs, Dog Days #2. Last issue, I picked up the Creepshow homage cover. This one is Trick or Treat, a great Warner Brothers horror anthology movie. I absolutely loved it. It became my. It's almost right there with Halloween as far as like a movie that I must watch every Halloween. Almost there. It's real close, but had to grab that one. Robin #10. Now this series here, as much as I enjoy Robin. Let's see if I can put that a little bit closer. Okay, as much as I enjoy Robin, I will be dropping this series soon. Sorry, I'm talking more than I'm used to today, so my throat's getting a little scratchy. But I will be dropping this series soon because there's a huge crossover event coming up, Shadow War or something like that, and it goes through all 78 Batman and Batman-related titles, and I'm not about to invest the time and money and effort and buying books that I have absolutely no interest in buying to get the full story. So as much as I've enjoyed this Robin series, at least through the Shadow War event, it's gonna be pulled off of my pull list. I'm not gonna go through the event. As far as whether or not I'll come back to Robin once that event is over with, who can say? I don't know yet. It all depends on how I feel at the time, I guess. Power Rangers Universe, number 2 of 6. This is the Blue Ranger cover. I like how they're going to do this. I think the next, they've got a Yellow Ranger and a Pink Ranger one coming up. So we're going to have 6 issues. So we're going to have the original 5 Rangers plus the Green Ranger or the White Ranger. I don't know which one they're going to do, but that was cool. And lastly, Death of Doctor Strange, number 5, wrapping up the event. And this issue here, we find out who the murderer is. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. Looking forward to checking it out. So there we go. That's what I got this week. Everybody, thanks for watching. And again, as always, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Hit that notification button. Let me know what you're reading each week. Let me know what you're checking out. I'm very curious to see what everybody else is reading. I like hearing other people's opinions on books, even books that I'm reading. If you liked it or if you didn't, I always like hearing what everybody's opinion is on various comic books. There's a lot of great comic books coming out, and I love talking about comics. So, again, that's it. That's all I got. I'll see everybody next week with another weekly haul video. Have a great weekend, everyone.